Hi Gemini, it's Michelle with or the Crazy Fairy if you'd like. Um, Doing a reading for you today for April 2023. So today I'm using the Slavic Folklore Lenormand deck. This Lenormand deck is slightly different to the standard. So I do find sometimes the meanings do change slightly. I do read mostly intuitively anyway, so I don't find it matters too much, but the imagery on these ones are absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend them as a Lenormand deck. They do come with keywords along the bottom as well. So if you're wanting to learn Lenormand, it's a great starter deck with those keywords there. Okay, so straight off the bat, we do have a card flipping for you guys. I'll get to that in a second. I'll just draw your cards for you there, Gemini. So we'll go 2 for life, 2 for love, 2 for your career and finances, and 1 for your general health this coming month in April 2023. Okay, so the card that flipped was the Mountain. Now, the Mountain is a very interesting card. It has a very dual nature. So it can talk about obstacles upcoming, but also opportunities as well. Every obstacle is actually an opportunity. It just may not look like it when you're standing at the bottom of the mountain looking at how far you've got to climb. But once you get to the top of that mountain, it's downhill from there, so they say. So yeah, it can also talk about some delays and challenges coming up for you guys this month. So as a card flipping out for you guys that month, I would be expecting to sort of see probably some delays or challenges coming up for you guys this month. But also remembering that it's how we look at those. If we're looking at an obstacle as a huge, big drama challenge in our life, that's what it's going to be. But if you do start to look at all challenges as though they are an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to get to the other side of the mountain, see what's over there, can actually bring about some really positive changes as well with that card. So very dual there. It can also just be talking about, the mountain does have a bit of an element of that, that rock solid element as well as like it may be relevant to somebody out there with the Geminis, that it can actually be talking about a specific place. So if there is somewhere nearby that you are drawn to that is like a mountain, it might be time to go spend some time in that area, connect to nature or whatever you feel drawn to this month with the Mountain card coming out for you guys. In your general love there, we have the Tower and the Flowers. Now, this is driving me insane because I feel like I've drawn this exact thing for another sign earlier. I've had a few repeat messages coming through for people this month. So obviously you might have a lot of strong planets in some of those signs. I cannot recall which readings that was, sorry. It would have been the ones uploaded just in the set of 3 before this. So that would have been Cancer, Leo, or Virgo. So if you have any of those strong placements, maybe there is something for you in one of those readings as well. But this is sort of talking about in your general life portion. The Tower does speak about, sometimes it can be the past or somebody older than you being important. With the imagery there with the flowers, it can be talking about someone from the past coming through, giving you gifts in your life this month. Reward and pleasure are also signifies with the flowers there. The Tower can also talk about foundations and building strong foundations with things in your life. So with that there, and also it does have a bit of an element of boundaries, and solitude. We all know Rapunzel up in her tower, she does seek a bit of solitude. So if that's been you lately and you have sort of been keeping yourself locked up in the tower. Now it's time for your rewards and your pleasure. So go out and look for the things that do make you happy and seek those sorts of things at this time. This month we'll be bringing that opportunity for pleasure and rewards with those sorts of things. It can be physical gifts coming towards you this month as well. But yeah, so the flowers is a really positive card, and it does sort of shine out over quite a lot of this reading just by itself. It will sort of have that shadow on pretty much everything, giving everything a positive spin this month. So that's a really good card to get for your general life area there. Now, when it comes to love, we have the house and the ship. So both of these cards, I absolutely adore the imagery on these cards. But the ship talks about journeys and traveling. So with your love, I actually feel like this would actually be talking about, because the house is like the opposite to journeying. It's stability, security, your home bubble. This could actually be talking about traveling somewhere to find that security. Moving home this month may be important to your love relationships. You might be moving in with somebody or considering moving in with somebody, things like that. You may need to travel in order to, gain new love relationships. So it's kind of a juxtaposition, these two cards, actually, because you've got the house, which is such a stable, secure, one sort of spot, whereas the ship talks about journeys in traveling and moving away and adventure, so it might be talking even just about, in order to maintain stability with your love relationships, that you do need to bring a bit of an adventure back in for you guys. Maybe a perfect time to start planning a holiday, start looking for, like a holiday home, if that's something that you and your partner are thinking of. But obviously there's something there for somebody with the house and the ship. You will notice too, in this deck, the house actually does have its little chicken feet. So it is, home is where the heart is, basically. You can get up and move whenever you need to. So, if you're not feeling stable and secure within your love relationships, moving on to, new ports may be what's in the cards for you at this time. Okay, now for your career and your finances. Okay, this is very interesting. I really like this for you guys, Gemini. The fish is the most money-related card in the Lenormand deck. So it is directly speaking about finances, abundance, and wealth coming in for you in this next month of April 2023. So that's a really positive card when it does come to career and finances. The fox card, traditionally the fox is, we talk about the clever little fox. It can be a bit of a trickster type energy, but when it's mixed with the fish, you do see this really interesting thing where it's talking about that salesman energy. So any good salesperson will tell you that you do not be trickster-esque, but in a positive way. You do need to have a bit of that give something to get something sort of mentality. You do need to be able to be good with your words, be clever with the way that you are talking to your clientele or whatever. So, it brings to mind that the quick brown fox thing, I don't even remember it, but having to be clever with your words and the way that you are speaking to people. It can be talking about a sales type person, a business type person who you look up to as quite successful and good at those sorts of sales tactics. Maybe someone who's important to you with your finances in this coming month. It's not necessarily a negative card. It talks about doing what's necessary for survival. In this day and age, the fox is actually a really good energy when it does come to, positive career changes and things like that, because it does have that quick sort of energy to it, and that clever energy is really important with the fox card as well. So like I said, and cunning, that's one of the keywords I've just glanced at there. That cunning, that business acumen, in order to secure that abundance into your career and finances at this time. So that's actually a really positive for you guys as well. So if you do feel like you need to be sly like a fox, I won't be sort of supporting any negative sly behavior, but sometimes we do need to be a little bit sneakier in the way that we're approaching business deals, when it comes to just the way that we're wording things, and really thinking about what's the best out, like the best things to say in order to not be deceitful or anything like that, but to get the best outcomes for myself in the situation. Yeah. So yeah, side note, it could also talk about, talking up your resume if you're applying for jobs and things like that. No, once again, I don't support lying on these sorts of things, but maybe talk yourself up a little bit. Having that courage for your own survival there is going to be important for you guys. Now, for your health, we do have the grave, which can sort of speak to sadness and mourning, those sorts of things. Sorry about the beeping there. But the death is traditionally the coffin card, so it can speak about things like death. I'm not going to say it's come through in your health section, but very rarely does it actually mean death per se. The coffin generally actually speaks to some things needing to end in order to begin new cycles. So some things needing to close off. So if there is something that has been affecting your health in a negative way, now it's really the time to close off that cycle, close off that addiction, close off that whatever it may be, close off that concern, so that we can begin all over again into the positive cycles. Yeah. So I wouldn't be taking that as a negative. Very rarely does the coffin card actually mean like a physical coffin. I wouldn't be too worried about that. But just as a bit of a warning for you guys there, if there is anything that that you're doing negatively that's affecting your health, now really is a good time to sort of look at that and make sure you're not letting it affect your health further. Okay, so now for your shadow work portion of the reading. I do like to talk about shadow work in all my readings pretty much because, personally I feel it's very important to keep the continual growth as people, as humanity in general. We do need a lot more growth when it comes to humanity. But yeah, for your own personal betterment, and in that search of happiness that we're all, that elusive happiness that we're all seeking, shadow work is actually quite important. And if you do feel as though there's a few things you want to look at within yourself, I'll give you a few guiders. So today we've got, for your shadow work, we've got the tree and the anchor. So the tree, even by itself, straight away speaks to self-growth, speaking to, gaining the knowledge that's necessary in order to make the changes that you need to for your self-betterment. It's definitely a card about wisdom, knowledge, your sense of spirituality, but really it's all about that growth. And just like a tree, we need to shed old leaves in order to grow fresh new shoots. So that it's a constant cycle. Everything has its life cycle. Everything is in a bit of a cycle there. So really needing to focus on our self-growth this month, and it's kind of just telling me that that is probably something that is important to you guys this month, Gemini. And with the anchor there, the anchor sort of talks about being stuck down, weighed down, held down by things. So you might be feeling like you're in a bit of a stuck energy at the moment. You might be feeling a bit restrained, but it's sort of reminding you to find that inner resilience as well, because what do a lot of ships do before they come into port? They drop anchor, they wait for their place. That's pretty much sometimes what we need to do. We need to just drop anchor, focus on our self-growth for a minute before we can have our ships come in with their pick up their cargo, or what it whatever it may be. So the anchor is sort of talking about things that might be weighing you down, keeping you a bit stuck at the moment. Really taking the time to stop, think about those things, look at those things, see how we can just sit in that energy, accept that energy at this time. That's probably all that's called for when it comes to your shadow work with the anchor. It's probably just accepting that we do have these periods in life where we are a bit stuck, and once you sort of stop and accept it, a lot of the times the answers on how to move forward will come naturally. So that's for you guys there, Gemini. Sorry, I know you're calling you guys like Jiminy Cricket or something like that. Anyway, let me know how you guys go for April 2023. And hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Please like, subscribe, whatever, comment below if that resonated with you. And thank you.